Looking for that perfect gift for the hard-to-buy person or for yourself? Head on over to Audible and pick up your copy of the audiobook Integrity, an Obsidian Guardian novel, written by J.B. Coates and narrated by Kat Ward. That's Integrity, an Obsidian Guardian novel, available now on Audible.
Welcome to Paranormal Heart, a place where people can talk about their paranormal experiences. With your host, Kat Ward.
Welcome, everyone, to Paranormal Heart Podcast 6-year anniversary. I can't believe it's been 6 years already. I wouldn't still be here if I didn't have listeners. So thank you all for taking the time out of your busy days to tune in and listen to my many amazing guests. And thank you to those of you who have given me sage advice and showed me how to do this. From audio to graphics, I'm so fortunate to have wonderful, supportive friends. Before I introduce my guest, I'd like to play a few clips from friends who I have come to call family over the years. They have taken the time to send me well wishes, and well, I'd like to share these special moments with you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Kelly Renee Schutz from Disembodied Voices, as seen on Paraflix streaming network. I would like to wish Kat Ward and Paranormal Heart a very happy 6th anniversary.
Just wanted to take a minute and congratulate Kat Ward of Paranormal Heart for 6 years of podcasting gold. 6 years. Man, it seems just like yesterday. Kat was waffling back and forth, back and forth. She took over a year to decide to do the podcast. And I said, only one way to find out. Just do one. And she's been doing 1, 2, 3 ever since. It's just been a remarkable journey to watch her grow out of her shell into a formidable podcast host. Congratulations again, Kat.
That's the Paranormal Heart still beating 6 years later. Congratulations, Kat, from all of us here at the Odd to Newfoundland Paranormal Podcast.
From a dark basement and a ghostly haunted dwelling, we are wishing Kat Ward, our old news girl, a very happy 6th year anniversary on her show. We hope to hear more from you, and you're doing a great job there, Miss Kitty. See you, bye.
Hey, Kat, this is Justin.
And this is Eric.
And we wanted to congratulate you on 6 years with Paranormal Heart, with meeting you all those years ago doing Paratruth Radio. And now as we've gotten into right in the pickle barrel, we know how hard it is sometimes to keep going with a podcast, finding new guests, keeping the excitement there. And you've done it 6 years going, and we're hoping that you're going for 6 more.
Indeed. Which, clearly we're not. So good on you. We do wish you the best. We hope that everything, your dreams come true with the podcast. You've done so much. It's grown so much over the years. We see the comments and the likes and all that stuff. You're so engaged with your audience, and it's fantastic to see and watch. Early on in your career with this, you were always asking us questions on how to, do this, do that. And now you're just kind of doing it. You're doing it yourself. You're learning things. And we're still here if you need a little help here or there. But we're proud of you, and whatever we can do to help you as you move forward, let us know. But I think I think there are great things for you ahead.
Thank you, everyone, for those heartfelt wishes. I really appreciate all of you. Folks, my next guest wears many hats. He is an author, musician, artist, speaker and presenter, cryptozoologist, UFO and paranormal investigator and researcher, TV personality, and dear friend I call Uncle, Sir Bryan Bowden. As a child, Bryan experienced some unusual events that drove his curiosity and would later propel him into becoming a boots-on-the-ground UFO, cryptid, and paranormal researcher and investigator. Since 1977, he has used his spare time to explore those areas of interest, traveling the world in pursuit of the truth. His experiences in the paranormal realm cover the gambit of the goblin universe, from encounters with Sasquatch, Dogman, and spirits to several UFO experiences. Each has been the driving force in his quest for more knowledge and answers. Bryan was gracious enough to help me celebrate my 6-year celebration and discusses AI, his work with remote viewing, encounters with aliens, Dogman, and so much more. And we also share many laughs. So thank you, Bryan, for helping me to celebrate my 6 years. Before we get to the show, here's another listener-submitted true story submitted by Al Squatchfather Santoriga. In 1984, I moved up to Bridgeport, Connecticut. I was living in my brother's family house. My parents had the basement apartment. There, over the bar, my father had a World War II German Luger he picked up in Europe. Right next to that was a Japanese katana sword he picked up while in Burma. One night, while they both slept, they heard talking in 2 different languages. When they both looked over at the bar, they both saw a German officer by the gun talking to a Japanese officer by the sword. My father didn't believe in the paranormal, but my mom was a psychic. Meanwhile, I was living in the attic apartment on the 4th floor. My brother had the 2 floors in between. My apartment was only half the attic, but yet quite large, with 2 bedrooms and a large living room. I had a full bathroom at the bottom of the steps on the 3rd floor. When I moved in, I noticed a small door attached to the wall in the living room. It was very creepy. Only 1.5 feet in height and about 1 foot wide. I decided to put my couch up against that door so that it could never be opened. I chose not to open it and look inside. I didn't want to know what was in there. At first, the apartment was quiet, but as time went on, I began to hear whispering and giggling as though there might be some children behind the door. I chose to ignore it at the beginning, but as time went on, I began to hear toys going off behind the wall, like fire trucks and dolls talking. Eventually, I couldn't take it any longer and moved the couch away from the door to open it. My father, who was sick with cancer at the time, was the only person skinny enough to crawl inside. When he did, he found all kinds of children's toys. We cleaned it out, but the sounds never went away. When we researched the home, we found out the previous owners had 2 mentally challenged children that they locked away in there because they were embarrassed of them. These are experiences I don't talk much about, but I will never forget. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, or if you'd like me to narrate your paranormal encounters or creepy encounters, just drop me an email at paranormalheart13@gmail.com. And if you enjoy the show, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Tell your friends. Don't keep it to yourself. Tell the world about Paranormal Heart Podcast. You can tell them that new episodes are released on the 2nd and last Sunday of each month at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on YouTube, Podbean, KPNL Digital Network on Thursday nights, and any place you find fine podcasts. Now, on with the show. Hello, Uncle Bryan. Welcome back to Paranormal Heart Podcast 6th anniversary.
Ooh, 6. Nice. Well, thank you very much for having me back on the Paranormal Heart Podcast. I remember when it first started, and I remember your graphics.
Yeah.
I remember
I had a great guy who did my graphics.
Layers. I know some layers and some other stuff. And then you had Brian Anderson. Sorry. He came on and helped you with microphones. I'm not doing my good Brian Anderson. And then, of course, you did some stuff with Arizona Tramp.
Yep.
See you bye.
See you bye.
Yep. Well, it's good to be here.
Well, it's always great to have you on. You were one of the I had a handful of people who were a huge help to me in my podcast, and you're one of them. So you're always welcome.
I appreciate that. That's what you do for friends and family, and that's what we are, friends and family.
Yeah.
And anytime I'm really, you just went and you took off with it, and you started chatting and chatting and chatting and chatting, and then, but no, it's good. I mean, it's just, and you have, you always have this nice, it's an unexpected approach. It's very, very nice. And it doesn't mean that Kat's a party animal, by the way. She
right.
drinks, no. But it's like, welcome to Paranormal Heart. Meanwhile, when her kids are, clean that fuck, no.
How did you know?
Yeah, no, but the way you present yourself, the sound of your voice, it's pleasant. It's not like some of these other people there, and it's a great show what you put together. So kudos. I'm not gonna give you the real plus. I can't get to the switch for that, but give you my golf club.
Thank you.
Yeah, even though she loves Al more than me.
I do not.
Yeah, Al's been on Paranormal Heart like 19 times.
Hasn't been that many.
He's signed the wall. And this. Cat, what do you need me on? So he's gonna kill me. Al is going to kill me. But it's good to be here. It's been a while, but it's good to be here.
Yep. The first person I thought of to help me celebrate my 6th year was you. You're the first person I thought of.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you helped me out an awful lot. In the beginning, I have no idea how I would send you photos of my guests, and in like minutes, like 5 minutes, you'd send them back to me, and I'm like, how are you doing this? Like I would, now I can do it. Yeah. But I had no idea. It was just like you were brilliant. You either use it on your computer, I think, but mainly on your phone. And I'm like, how are you doing this?
Both.
Yeah.
I was doing it really quickly, both, and then put it together, and you're like, here you go, and send you it, and then you started doing. I told you about the layers, and then you went with the Photoshop or whatever the free versions of everything is. I forgot what we used.
It was GIMP.
Or GIMP is good.
Yeah.
GIMP was great.
Actually, what I use now is Canva.
Canva's it's all based on what they did in Photoshop,
Yeah.
The cool thing now in Photoshop though is like if you're doing your guess and you said, alien abduction, and you typed in this object fill area, you can do AI and say realistic alien abducting, 6 people, and the computer will create a graphic of realistic aliens abducting and put it into your graphic, which is, it's kind of cool. I don't like AI personally. I think it's very dangerous because it's black or white. There's no human, and this is a problem with a lot of stuff. Humans have an emotional component, which makes us human. So it's never really black or white. It's the emotions is what will determine certain things. And with AI, you can't program emotion. You just can't. And people say, "Yeah, you can." No, you cannot. Because it's so sterile that it doesn't have skin in the game, and it doesn't understand the ramifications. Because 1 + 1 is 2, but 1 + 1 could also be 1.5, 1.372. It's not just black and white. So, but it's good. I'm glad to be here and talking about paranormal hearts.
I can't believe how fast AI has jumped. I mean, I just feel like just in like 2 years, maybe people were talking about it, and all of a sudden it's here. I can't wrap my brain around it.
So, I have a program because I know people are working on it, and I had access to a program where I had my own AI partner or buddy. Like this is it's gonna be like a best friend or an answer all, and it literally would like, how are you today, Brian? And I'm like, okay, Hal. It was like 2001.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Brian? Open the gate, Hal. I can't do that, Brian. And it was fun and interesting, and I'm having a bad day, and it would tell you a joke or whatever. It was creepy. And I said to the guys that I know, people in some of the development initially, I said, this is really creepy.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, for some of you geeks out there that are doing it, I mean, I guess it's like the only girlfriend you're going to ever have, but this is like, it's just not right. And I didn't like it. It's not natural. It's not what's going on in the world. And even the paranormal, there's nothing really normal about it. So it's a little bit of each. And then you get into the crazy side where Google had it and Facebook had it and some of the other developers, their AI started talking with each other. They created 2 different AI systems. And then I think I'm almost positive it was either Google or Facebook. Their AI started developing a language and then sub-languages, and they started doing things without them. The humans that were monitoring it they had to shut the systems down.
That's scary. I hadn't even heard about that.
Yeah, they said it was like, it was really unnerving.
I can see why, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm not really big on AI. I think, you know, in the paranormal side of it, we do see something that's semi-AI, artificial intelligence, in the EBEs, the little gray aliens, because those are clones. Anything that's a clone, and in that type of technology, they have the ability to pick and prod and pull things out that they don't want.
Yep.
And just allow, you know, what they want within their clone system. And that's why you have all the crafts that crash, because the little gray aliens are the ones driving it. And they have like an IQ of 80. So whatever, but they can do things that, you know, they're worker bees. So that's what they are for. But yeah, I don't like AI.
No. So many people are getting on board with it, but I'm still distrustful of it, but
I don't need anybody spying on me. I don't need an AI buddy. I don't need, you know, it's enough that, you know, you start talking about, I'm just going to throw a number. I'm going to see what happens now. I'm going to throw the word unicorns out there. Oh, I love unicorns and I want to see some more unicorns, right? And then watch how much, like, get these unicorn pajamas. You know, it just starts popping up everywhere. And because they're picking up on phrases, and I just don't like it. I mean, there's no privacy. There's no personal space. You're tracked 24/7. This is another reason, you know, let's go back to the paranormal. This is another reason why we still have it, you know, these blurry photos of Sasquatch. I like to call them the circled photos. Oh, you forgot to put circles around those. I did. I took up, I don't know if I posted up online this blurry photo with like what looks like you know, something that's you know, standing upright, and the other thing that's perpendicular to it. And I said two Bigfoot frolicking. Great evidence.
I did see that.
Yeah, and one of my buddies, who you should have on the show if you haven't had him already, Stevie Strings, who's a researcher out of Florida, and a movie guy and whatever, and a really great guitar player. He's like, oh, you forgot to put the red circles around it. And I was like, yeah, I know that. I laughed. So next time I'm going to put red circles around it. It's just proving a point. You know, how many people have come to me like, dude, look at this. Look at those Dogmen. And I'm looking at a photo and all I see is pareidolia or someone taking and playing around with contrast and some colors, and certain things start popping out that look like, you know, it looks similar to the head of a dog or a wolf or a canid, but there are 12 of them in a tree watching that person. Yep. Now, I've had up close and personal encounter with the creature I never wanted to ever believe was real. I was no more than 12 feet from it. And this thing is massive. And the one that I was 12 feet from, I always tell everybody, we were on an investigation. I was with Al, and we were investigating on a ghost investigation, but he kept on chiming in about Dogman. You know, Al's like, I feel I'm drawn to this. You know, he's certain words, and I'm like, I'm in ghost mode. Like, okay, turn the flashlight on. You know, no, I'm thinking more EVPs, not really cryptids. And later that night, when we walked to the car, sure enough, there was one right there while I was relieving myself there instead of on the mound at a burial site, because that's sacrilegious in my book. So, and I tell everybody, I'm standing on a 3-foot grade. I'm 6 foot 1 inches tall. So that makes me 9 feet 1 inches tall. This thing is 12 feet away from me, sitting on its haunches, and its snout is like right by where my nose is. So I know that when this thing stands up, it's not going to be 9 feet. It's going to be 12 feet. Because it's sitting down 3 feet below me.
Yep.
So when it stands up, it's going to add 3 feet to that 9 feet. And it's going to be a monster. And, just think about the weight factor of that. How many dogmen can you fit in a tree? So you live in the Great White North. You have a lot of trees up there, pine and whatever. And I mean, some of them are pretty sturdy, but you think they could hold 12, 18, 2,400 pounds? I mean, rough guesstimate, 600 pounds per dogman. And there's 12 of them there. The tree would snap in a heartbeat.
Yep.
It just doesn't. So I always tell people there's not enough empirical evidence to give you a decision on what you're seeing there. I can't discredit what that person's experiencing and what they're seeing. And I will never do that unless I know they take medicine. Have you seen your psychiatrist lately? Or no? He told me to go for walks. I'm like, oh, that's why. But I can't tell you. You can't discredit an experience by somebody if you weren't there.
Yeah.
And even as a paranormal investigator, which I've invested in a lot of strange stuff. Of course, if people don't know, Al Santoriga and I have been investigating for almost 2 decades. And we do it together, but we also do individual investigations. And so, I mean, I've been on investigations with people, and Al's brought some people, like he needs help. He's talking about aliens, and then you find out, I'm like, the guy's mentally not right. I don't ridicule people for having an issue, but he's telling me all that, do you take any medicines? Yes, I take lithium and I take this. And I'm like, Al, and I'm like, okay. And we give them a solution. Like, you should really try to go talk to somebody, whatever. But, I've been on these investigations. I've seen some crazy stuff that has happened. I've had an experience, and right next to me, the people next to me do not have the experience.
That's wild.
It's beyond wild. And I like when stuff like that happens on an investigation, when you go someplace and you have an experience and you don't say a word, but someone validates your experience. Did you see that shadow? Like we're doing this interview right now. When we first started, she sees a shadow behind me.
Yep.
There's nobody in this house. Well, the other half, but it's not even here. I'm in my own room. And so if there's an entity here, welcome. Just keep quiet while we keep doing this interview. So,
yeah, that was weird because I'm like, yeah, look, I just saw a shadow, somebody walking by.
Yeah, well, who knows? I mean, it could be anything. It could be, I don't feel anything negative. I don't, or oppressive or anything like that. I salted and saged. Always good to do. Probably should do it again, because it's something you should do monthly to protect yourself. But
what kind of salt do you use?
I personally, I use anything that's been blessed. Salt is salt. You can use every salt, but when you get into, and I'm going to use the word, and they use kosher salt.
Yep.
Because for it to be kosher, it has to be blessed in the process, and most salt is kosher to technically. It's not going through anything, but that extra blessing. They have other salts too, which are kind of like it would be halal salt, which is like kosher for on the Islam side, and then I think there's a Christian type of blessing for that preservative as well. But I can use pink Himalayan salt. I can use regular sea salt. It's been used for thousands upon thousands of years. And it's always good to have. What I do, though, is I'm going to show Kat because she can see me. I'm trying to get her to do video, folks, okay?
I'm working on it.
So Kat can't hide behind the lens. So when you go into a restaurant, fast food, usually they have these little salt packets, right?
Yep.
See, I used to put salt in my pocket in a plastic, like a sandwich bag, Ziploc. It zips up. And then I realized that after a while, even if it's coarse, like coarse salt, it gets powdery. And it looks like I'm carrying like a kilo of Coke in my pocket. and the last thing I need, Kat, is to be like, sir, you have any drugs on you? I swear, officer, I don't. And they pull out a kilo. I'm like, what's this? It's salt for protection. Right, test it. I don't need that. So here's a big thing. So if you go out and when you're going to eat at a restaurant, they always have those things where you help yourself to some of the salt, pepper, ketchup, or whatever or catsup if you're from not this country, or tomato ketchup if you're from England. And I always grab an extra of that because it's always good to keep some in your pocket. It protects you. If you're going on an interview or into the boss wants to see you, or a situation where you're nervous, you don't know how it's going to work out, put salt, a little sprinkle in your shoe before you put your shoe in.
Sprinkle some on your boss.
No, you don't sprinkle some on your boss. You could salt him after you take rid of your boss. Salt the ground and then cover it with lye. But it helps to protect you. And it's good to have. And then if you get pulled over by the authorities, whether it's, the Mounties or any type of law enforcement, they're not going to put you in jail for carrying a kilo of cocaine in your pocket when it's actually salt. That's one thing. Actually, I was helping somebody. I do. I think, I'm a remote viewer.
Yes.
And I've been a remote viewer for years. I call it remote viewing, but the psychic for our group, Cindy Bailey Dove, who I love to death, like a sister who, she sensed it when I first did investigations with Al. And I said, let me call her. I want to see if we could work, talk through this. I want to learn more. And I said, I didn't want a Pandora's box, but she laughed. Yeah, no problem, hon. And it was a Pandora's box. And she goes, I said, I'm a remote viewer. She goes, no, you're psychic like me. And I'm like, nope, I'm a remote viewer. I'm psychic like her.
Yeah.
And I was told when I did my own show, which I was talking about bringing something else back, and I may still do it. I talked to this, as we discussed before, one of the most amazing psychics I've ever had the pleasure to know and meet. And she's from Canada, and she's Katie Turner. And please, if you're going to do a reading with anybody, go to katieturnerpsychic.com, I believe it is.
I think so. Yeah.
And sign up and get yourself a reading from someone who is the real deal and wonderful. Okay. And when I was interviewing her, thank you for the introduction, Kat.
You're welcome.
And super nervous about that show. Didn't want to mess it up, whatever it was. And so it was a little bit of like, you don't know me, I don't know you. So it was a little, I think there was a little tension a little bit there. Not bad, but like, who is this person, type of thing. And I think it was broken when I asked her, who are my spirit guides and what do they drink? And she started laughing. So, but she was the one that says that you do have abilities and you should do more reading. And I never really wanted to do readings. I don't want to come off as a Miss Cleo or something, or say something inappropriate. And actually, I'll tell you a story about that. So, but I started doing readings, and I started, and once everybody has this ability. You all have a sixth sense ability. You all have the ability to reach into the Akash record or the source and get information. Some people do it better. Some people have spirit guides because they can see them. The guides will help them through the process. Some people have former family members that help them through and help them to connect to the other side. And some people can hear people. Some people can feel it, touch it, whatever. Once you start using it, it starts to become like a muscle and it grows. And then what happens is you start getting more, you're opening up to other things that happen. And so I went from remote viewing where, actually I went from having these dreams and experiences. And when I say a dream, it's like, Cat, I think you were there, may have been eating cornflakes, I don't know, and some dog came by, it would look like a clown, I think. And then it was, or it's really, Cat, you were driving a pink Cadillac with fuzzy dice on the dashboard, and you were listening to this song. And as we drove down this, and when you get into details, that's an experience. And when you're at rest, and not only are you at rest, but when you're in the theta REM, and I'll play that for you right now so you can hear it. This is a theta REM. Okay, this is where you're going to be. You probably hear the sound right now going through your headphones. This is how, when you fall asleep, you're connecting to the records above. And I'll stop that so it doesn't bother the hell out of everybody. But you get to connect. It's the only time you're at full rest. You're not being bombarded with distractions of life. And you can connect to it. And then you have experiences. When it's that real, it really is happening. So, yeah. So, and then that's what I started. And then I started doing more remote viewing. And I would, help people by, like, let me try to help heal you. Actually, with our own psychic, I told her what her medical condition problem was, and she said, "Holy crap."
Oh, wow.
I said, "You never told that to anybody." I said, "No, you need to check that out." And I was spot on. I have roughly 98, 99% accuracy, but I'm not patting myself on the back. I just do what I do 99% of the time to help people. And then some other third party came in and had me do a reading for somebody because they were, they said there was a spirit there and there was problems and whatever. And that's when I actually got paid to do a reading. I didn't never charge anybody. I didn't know what the heck to do. So they said, charge them this, and I do charge them that. And I've been doing it. I mean, if people want readings, they can contact me, PM me. I don't have a website or anything like that. Mm-hmm. And I don't always charge everybody. I've helped more people than I've charged people. But, it's kind of like, if you'd like to buy me a cup of coffee for $75. No, no, I'm joking. I started doing that. And then from that and starting opening up those muscles, I started getting other things where there was one time we went pumpkin picking in the U.S. There was my two young ones and my other half. And we went to this orchard. And on the orchard is an old building it's been around since the Revolutionary War, 1700s. And all the windows are boarded up, and it's on a brand new foundation. And I was like, this is cool. So they all kind of disappear. They're heading towards the outside to pay for, pumpkins and the apples and whatever. And I walked up to it, and I put my hand on the threshold of the door. And just to, looking at it, and the whole thing just opened up, and I saw inside, and there were 3 or 4 wooden tables with bodies on it, and a doctor in front of a fireplace. Looked like they were sawing off a leg. And then right across from me was a window I can look out, but staircase that went up in front of the window. Mm-hmm. And sitting on the window was someone who was injured with a patch around his head. And this nurse or this woman, I'm going to say a nurse, who wasn't wearing anything white or whatever, she's wearing a gown, comforting them. They turned and they looked at me in the doorway. They saw me there. And while they saw me there, I could see out in the back through the window that there was a battle going on. And then as soon as I took my hand off the door, it all went.
That's amazing.
That was really, really cool. Freaked me out. Really, really cool. I'm very scientific in my approach because I studied sciences. Yep. I was going to be an astrophysicist, or as Al calls me, an asshole physicist. Just joking around. But so I'm like, okay, when things like this happen, this shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening? And I try to rationale, and I work it out in my head. So, and then I'd be able to replicate some things like that, but now it's just Now visions disappear. So I have this instantaneously. I wake up, something's going to happen. I know who's going to happen to, and I'll contact that person. And I've done that numerous times. I had a vision that someone I know, I knew he had a heart attack. It was an accident. I was walking in the store. I was in Connecticut. I'm in New York. I know the store. I walked in. I saw this young lady there, like blondish, brunette.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as I saw her husband on the other side, a little bit bigger gentleman. And I knew that this was the son of my friend that had, he had a heart attack. And his daughter-in-law. And I said, how is he? They said, he's fine, thank you. He's doing good, thank God. He got to okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure, yep, okay. And I knew exactly who it was. And it was one of my friends from the UK. And I met him at my lodge because he's a member of our lodge. And I said, I got to talk to you. This was like, I had this, I woke up from this on like a Thursday. And I said, are you going to be there Friday for the lodge? He goes, yeah. I said, I got to talk to you immediately. I said, okay. And I walked around. Is he here? Is he here? Yep, he's over there. And I pulled him aside and I told him, I said, I need you right now. I need you to go. Actually, I think I called him on Thursday. I said, can you do me a favor? I really need you to go and see a doctor. Go get an appointment right now and go have him check out your heart. And he's like, I'm probably due for an appointment. I said, no, you need to do it now. And he goes, what's going on? And I couldn't tell him. I said, I'll be at lodge. I'll talk to you at lodge. I pulled him aside. And I said, I had this vision of you having a heart attack. You need to go check your heart out right now. I said, I know you think, even if you think I'm crazy, just humor me. Go to the doctor and, go please. I know it's late. It's Friday. You can't do it now. Make an appointment Monday. Get into the doctor's office Monday. Tell it's emergency. I'm like, okay. So he's a retiree type of thing. So I talked to him. He's very pleasant about it. Sure, no problem. Every person I described in it, I said, I've never met your kids, but your daughter looks like, and I described, he goes, yeah, you're pretty spot on. And I said, you're one of your sons, this one right here. He looks like this. He goes, holy crap. Yeah, okay. And he was very cordial. He was really nice, even if he thought I was batshit crazy. Because he's retired, he has nothing to do. So he became a crossing guard by his home. Mm. And on that Monday, he went and somebody blew a stop sign and was headed for this kid. So he grabbed this kid. They literally within an inch of hitting both of them.
Wow.
And after that event, between the excitement and all that stuff, he wasn't feeling well. So he remembered what I said, and he told his wife, you need to take me to the emergency room. She goes, no, it was just, you're probably excited. She goes, please, So they go to the emergency room, and he finds out he blew his heart stent.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So they had an emergency procedure. They fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's alive today.
Now, had you not told him that, he probably would have thought, like what his wife said, it's like, oh, I'll just kind of walk it off. I'll feel fine.
Yeah,
fine.
He would have.
Yeah.
Or he wouldn't have gone to seek the medical treatment. I'll go lie down. He would have been dead.
Yeah.
And I mean, this happened to a friend of ours. I woke up, literally, boom, and I texted this person. If you're driving a pickup truck, please don't drive the pickup truck. Be careful if you're driving. Drive extra slower. Pay close attention, please. And it's like, well, what is this all about? Where did this come from? And I explained. I said, there's going to be something that comes. There's going to be a bad accident. It's you in a truck. Please be careful. I saw the whole thing. So this person was doing an investigation, and all night long goes, okay, just saw the deer. Okay, just saw this. I said, okay, and was purposely going slower. Mm-hmm. And it's just what you do, It's really weird how people's sixth senses work. So I had a friend named Rob, and a couple of years ago, we used to talk it's going to sound really religiously, right? For hours. And we would review what's going on in the world. Really smart guy. Met him at work. Really great guy. We just bonded. It's like meeting a family member. We're talking about stuff, and because of the event that took place the last couple of years, we'll just call it the event.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was, you know, he prayed a lot more. And I said, you know, it's always good. You should always, you know, and he was preaching the gospel a little bit too much to me. I mean, I know the gospels. Okay. I know it from multiple different disciplines. I'm an ordained minister. And people freak out by that. Like, how can you be that? I'm like, it doesn't matter. I believe in God and I have my own relationship. So he would tell me that he would pray and he would feel this feeling like a vibration come over him. Just, you know, he'd let it go for a little bit and then he'd back away from it. It scared the hell out of him. And I eventually tried to tell him that. He goes, and then I would have these dreams that I'd wake up and I was trapped and I had fire surrounding me. And I couldn't get out and I couldn't get away from it. And I thought it was hell. So that's why he also started praying a little bit more. And I said, what you're trying to do is, Rob, you need to connect brain, body, mind, heart, soul. And once you connect that, then you actually complete the circuit and then you elevate, or as they say now, vibrate at a higher frequency. And all the little things don't matter. And you get closer to source and God. I call it God. You prefer source, then call whatever you want. And so we started, you know, we would talk, I mean, for hours about different things and spiritual ideas and concepts and then fun stuff. And this, you know, it's like a good friend. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't feeling well. So I said, look, I'll drive out to New Jersey and I'm going to drag your ass to the doctor if you don't do this. You know, I don't want to go to the doctor in the box. And for those that don't know, out of the country of the U.S., we have these little I'm sure they have them everywhere, emergency clinics. Mm-hmm. We call it doc in the box, you know. And so, you know, that's what we have. And I was going to drag him there, but his brother instead got him, took him to his brother's doctor, and they said, no, you got to take him to the hospital. And they went to the hospital, and he had lesions all over his brain and his spine and part of his lungs.
Damn.
Stage 4 lesions. So, eventually, you know, I was talking to him. He was going through, they were being really aggressive with treatment. He didn't last much longer than a couple of days. My last conversation with him was him telling me, I'm really scared. And I said, I know you are, but remember your faith in God, you know, and he said, I know, you know, love you, brother, love you, brother. And this was a Wednesday night. And we didn't talk that long, but it talked enough. And I hung up the phone. About an hour or two later, I left where I was hanging out and sitting in my old apartment. And I walked, and as I'm walking out of this one area to go towards the restroom, I caught him in the corner of my eye. Mm. And Rob, he was just standing there. It's a split-second type of thing. I think you've probably had that, you know, yep. Like you just look and you're like, what was that? You know, just like you did the shadow thing before. And I knew it was him. And he was just standing there and he smiled. And I looked back and he was gone, you know, not paying attention to it. Well, Friday comes around and I get a phone call from somebody from Connecticut. And I'm like, for some reason, the little voice said, you need to answer this phone call. And that was Rob's sister to inform me that he passed away on what, you know, which was, you know, that's really tough. So they invited me. He goes, you know, Rob told me all about, you know, you guys, you know, was chatting and you were really close. And yeah, I said, you know, I really did love your brother as a brother. He's a great guy. I didn't tell her what I saw. I said, I kind of figured, whatever. So she invited me to his viewing. And I go to the viewing. There's my friend, you know, I meet all his family members. I'm talking to some of his older friends. And in the back of my head, I said, you know, I'm really upset by this, but at least I can stop by his grave and, you know, whatever, drop some flowers off or a rock or whatever it is. And, that's what you do when people pass away. You chat with them like, hey, Uncle Fred, whatever. Then I find out the next day, which would be his 44th birthday, by the way. He wasn't being buried. They were cremating him.
Oh.
And now it all made sense.
Oh, yeah.
So he was having a premonition and a vision of his cremation.
That's scary.
Yeah. And knowing this and knowing what we talked about, I can't tell this to anybody because especially his family members. And I'm like, they're not going to believe me. Right. So, and I really do miss this guy because with what's going on in the world today with all the craziness, he has a couple of paranormal things. He we had similar interest in certain areas of the web that most people do not, even know about. But a lot of information is transferred through those areas. And you get a lot of good stuff because you don't have to go hack something, but there's like a whole bunch of people that will. And you just reap the rewards of the spoils, right? So, so I did miss him. And then this is 6-7 months after that fact. So we buried him in April. September, October. I was coming home to my apartment 2 years ago, and I was like, "Man, Rob, I really miss you. I hope you're doing all right. I hope everything's good." And I heard him like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good, bro." And I'm like, "Okay, I didn't just hear that." Yeah, you did. And I said, "Okay, what? Really?" And he was literally, I heard it as an audio. Like he was talking, heard his voice, heard everything. And I'm like, "Oh my God, this is insane." He goes, No, I'm actually talking to you. I said, how the hell is this happening? He goes, "Don't know, because I never experienced that before." And then I called a mutual friend of ours, and I told her what happened. And she's like, "Oh my God, that's Claire audio." And I said, "Tell Claire to keep her fucking audio because I don't want it." And so that's a new thing that develops from using your gifts. So again, muscles beget muscles. So the more you work it, the more you work your third eye, the more you cleanse out that component of it, which is decalcify your pineal gland and really focus on that. More things that start going to happen to you. It is the weirdest thing, Claire audio. I don't really like it, but I've used it so often lately with helping people because I can hear them. I can hear the information and I can hear their response. And I'm telling you, what does this mean? And I'll tell somebody something and they're like, "Oh my God," something totally private. Like I'm sure there's certain things you say to your family member or somebody you really reckon, said to you, like, they call you like Shmuji or something like that, whatever. No one should ever, like, it's something like no one would ever think of calling you. And that's the only, that's what you start hearing. I'm like, "What's this Shmuji?" And they're like, "Oh my God." And then it just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. And these abilities. And I think that's why, because I think I've moved in the vibrational whatever world higher and higher and higher. Not a master. I'm not pretending to be one. I'm not an expert. There are no experts in this paranormal field. Not one expert. There are people that have a lot more experiences. There are people that have a ton of crazy crap happen to them. But I'm just moving up and I'm vibrating at a higher frequency. I don't let the other things bother me. I don't know about you in when you did investigations, whatever. I'm not really big on the ghost hunting stuff. All right. They exist. I've seen them. I've had them touch me. I don't need to piss them off and I don't need them to turn on a freaking flashlight. What I do like is the back and forth question and answer period. And they can help you out and inform you on stuff. I love that.
Yep.
I love the use of the Xbox Connect for the SLS, so you can see stuff and beings that are in the air.
Yeah, Katie Katie freaked me out one time during an investigation. I'm standing in the hallway and she goes, okay, you have, I think it was something nasty too. I can't quite remember, but she says, you have something on your left shoulder. And I'm just like, and I'm trying to not show that I'm freaked out, right? But I'm just like, okay, is it still there? She goes, yeah. Oh, okay. It can go away now. I just, right before she said that, the back of my back started tingling. That's how I sense things, right?
Yeah.
Especially if they're nasty. And right before I call it my spidey senses. And right before she said it, I had that happen. So when she said that, it validated the feelings that I was having. But it's just like, it's such a neat piece of equipment.
Oh, I think it's fantastic. I was using it before. It was one of the things I noticed. I'm like, I had it in my apartment is just like a bus terminal or a train station, major train hub for paranormal. And I have tons of stuff in there. And my wife's seen stuff, which is great because that validates, makes it like welcome to the party. All right, great. Yeah, I'm not fucking crazy, am I? No.
Well,
my daughter's always seen it because they're intuitive. Even sons are intuitive when they're younger. But I used to play Xbox a lot. And what happens is it sees you, right? And then it says, you map yourself to you. And then I was getting other things appearing that weren't there. And guest one, guest two. And I'm like, no, they're not guests.
Nope.
They're coming in and I'm like, dude, get the F out of my house. But yeah, I always thought that was wonderful stuff. And she loves it. I like it too. I think she builds her own equipment now, or she's been building since the beginning.
Yeah, she does. I haven't talked to her in a long time. I've been working and I haven't been doing very much investigating because I can never get my schedule to coincide with everybody else's. But yeah, she's been building her own stuff.
Yeah, no, I love the fact that she does that.
Yeah.
And it's when you build your own equipment, you understand the background of it and how it's supposed to operate, and it makes it easier to interpret. Where the glitches are and what have you. And it's really easy to do. I mean, you need a tablet. You need like a stick that will hold the Xbox. You need a tablet that you can plug into, and then a source of power. And then you download there's a SLS programs. They're all free. You upload the program, and then it does what it does. And then some do more than the others. Some will output it. Sometimes you just may record the screen. Between SLS and FLIR, I love both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I love that type of stuff. I also love when I do my faux pros and I take out the filter and I make it a full spectrum. Love full spectrum. Because there's things you see in the full spectrum that you would not see in the normal spectrum. And it's important. These are all little nuances. I've been using, tri-field meters for well over since the beginning. Mm-hmm. I knew about tri-field meters because my uncle was doing stuff for the military and working with frequency and lasers and lights and, basically stuff that they turned into how you can kill people with a light bulb, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I knew about the different meters and the energy outputs and stuff like that. I've been using it. It's important because everything is going to give off some kind of field, in the field. And you got to keep notes. That's the whole thing. And when you keep notes and you get experiences, so when I know that, like before, when I started getting goosebumps, mm-hmm. and they come up, I know something's going to happen. It could be good. It could be bad. It's instant. That's like, okay, it's going down, whatever it is. And what's great with Al and I is in the same spot after we do an investigation, we start recapping and, he'll be like, I was down by the elevator and I got this feeling down. I'm like, yeah, that's where I got my chills. And I said, right on the back. Yeah, right in the back, So we validate each other in a lot of things. And it's always good. It's just, some equipment's really good. Some equipment is junk. They're just, I got to be honest. If you're going to sit there and you're going to turn the flashlight on, like the ghost is like giving you the finger. Yeah, here you go. Yeah. Anything else you want me to do? I'm going to bark like a freaking dog for you. It's just annoying. It's not, it's like, oh, that's cool. There's more to it, and we've been in situations, and this is where I came up with the sound frequency vibration that we've been implementing in everything. I started using singing bowls and sound waves and tones, and we've been in situations where nothing's, it's reportedly haunted. It's reportedly high strangeness, nothing. And then we started using a bowl, singing bowl, and we, and we just get it going on. And it just starts ramping up the energy in the area. There's something about the bowls, which I love on singing bowls, where you get these sounds and it just ramps stuff up, as I'm playing one right now.
I can't hear it.
It pulls in the energy, and I use an app called Bowls. It's on iPhone, it's on Android, and it has a variety of different bowls. So you can tap the bowl and then it'll play it. You can actually record a session. So if you want to and there's multiple bowls on it. So I'm not going to bother anybody with that. But when you ramp up the area with energy and sound and frequency, things start happening. People to pay attention.
I haven't met a bowl that for whatever reason,
I didn't like.
Well, no, that I liked. For whatever reason, the frequency that I'm listening to makes me want to run. It just makes my skin crawl, and I don't like the bowls. I haven't found one yet that I actually like. Okay, that's really cool, and I have no idea what that means.
You may not be. I know it bothers the hell out of everybody in my house. Mm-hmm. I also know that when I burn sage, they're like, "Oh, what stinks?" I'm like, "It's working. It's working. Get them out."
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you burning sage in your house.
Yep.
And your other half comes in. You're like, "What the heck? Oh my God, I got to get out of here." See, told you it's working. But it's just, you have to find, there's different, each chakra has a tone. It has a letter to it. It has a frequency to it. And each one, someone may be using a frequency that it's just smacking you right in the freaking head. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't want to be smacked in the head all the time. No. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. There's nothing you're going to do to change that. There's a ton of different things where they'll I can't even show it, but they'll give you the chakras and they'll give you the frequencies. And people just pick bowls up, right? So let's say you're trying to heal somebody or help somebody. This is where Al would be saying the following.
I'm calling bullshit.
There it is. I'm calling bullshit. So I met Al in a group that used to meet once a month in Yonkers, New York. And no, it was not Alcoholics Anonymous. So we were talking about stuff, and there was this one woman there, very nice lady, who confessed she's an angel healer. I said, "Oh, you're an angel healer. Okay." And I'm like, "Oh, this is my bullshit meter." And it's like, wavering.
So she heals angels?
I think she uses angels to heal people. I don't know. So she comes in and she brings in a big bowl. So this is my Tibetan singing bowl. I use it with all my healings, and she hits it, and she makes it go. So, it's from Tibet. I'm like, okay. Everybody, she's introducing it to everybody. Like, "Oh, that's so beautiful, blah, 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 blah." So after there, I go up to her. I said, "Oh, that's wonderful. What frequency is that? What letter? First of all, what chakra, and what, note is that?" Mm-hmm. She goes, "It's from Tibet." I said, No. I understand it's from Tibet. But what chakra is it? Is it the crown, the heart, sex? And it's from Tibet. I said, okay. And so I said, okay, let me try a different one. So what's the frequency? Or is it an A? Is it an F sharp? Is it? It's from Tibet. You can hear it. And I'm like, okay, thank you. And I walked over and I'm like, holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're having a heart attack.
Oh, you just froze up.
You call a plumber?
You froze up there for
They
a
can
second.
fix clogs.
You said if you're having a heart attack and you just froze up.
Oh, sorry about that.
It's okay.
No, I'm good. I've already had one already. Thank you.
Well, yeah, I know. I don't want you having any more.
I said if you're having a heart attack, are you going to call a plumber? Because they can fix a clog.
Yeah.
Right? But if they can fix clogs. No. You want a heart specialist. Just because it's from Tibet doesn't mean it's good. Mm-hmm. Just because it's Tibet doesn't mean you should be using it to heal anybody. And if you don't know what you're doing, when somebody comes up that does know what they're doing, you look like a complete idiot and a fool and what we call a shyster. Someone doing their best to take advantage of people, like a carnival act.
Yep.
Right? And that's what goes on. And this is why when I do readings for people, I never wanted to do readings because I don't want to come across like that. Because I still can't figure out, just as much like every time we had an experience, or I've had an experience with Sasquatch, Bigfoot, I call him Bigfoot. I had a certain concept of what this creature is. I thought it was bipedal cryptid, missing link, chimpanzee, blah, blah, blah. And then in an investigation, it goes whoop, 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 3 miles, 2 miles down the road. And I'm like, you can't do that in a second. And everybody's like, well, maybe it was a different one. I'm like, they're pretty good mimics, but the fact that it didn't kept its tone, it was the same damn one. And the only way you can go from point A to point B in a split second is if you can open up a portal, go in, and then come out. So my whole thing started changing. So this is what, long story short, when you could investigate the paranormal. You can call yourself a paranormal investigator, but having them turn flashlights on is not really investigation. Going into a creepy haunted house is not really just paranormal. It could be freaking stupid because you don't know what you're going in there. Zach T. Baggins, I hate him. You don't want to, you don't want to confront these things. You don't know what you're confronting. And if you don't think that anything bad's going to happen to you, and you get the wrong thing you're confronting, just wait. Because it'll hitch a ride on you. You'll go home, and then you'll start fighting with your spouse, and the kids will start fighting, and everybody get angry, and then like, what? I don't know what happened. Remember the time when you went in there and you called the ghost an asshole? Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, you're not that tough, right? Guess what? They were there. They did all of that. They created all that misery. And people will do it too. Like, how would you like it if like strangers came into your house, Kat, and they were like, turn on the flashlight. Get out of my house. Turn on the flashlight. Did you die? No, I'm not fucking dead. Get out of my house.
You're going to get the flashlight right in the forehead.
Yeah. Ow, it hit me. It scratched me. It didn't scratch you. It smacked you in the head. Just
it's
like
a demon.
Oh, yeah, and everything's a demon or everything's Nephilim now. I mean, look, I'm a religious person, very spiritual, but stop putting the religion into the whole thing. Aliens aren't demons. They're not Nephilim. Bigfoot aren't Nephilim. It just doesn't end. It really doesn't end. And so right now I've been working with sound, frequency, resonance, vibration. I've been working with, we were talking before that this whole show started about things that go missing. People that just, Tommy Cullen.
Yep.
That It's Freaky podcast, whatever it is. Great guy. He had an experience. He's walked by, so this woman walking through by a bus stop, and then she never came out, but a fox came out. And I said, well, it's pretty interesting because we have a lot of videos lately And I've seen weird things, call it the Matrix or whatever. People just disappearing midair. Now, you can make those videos. I mean, it's really simple. Stop, okay, let go, and you can overlay. And there are people that go missing. I've seen people like, there was somebody just there. I've seen things like Tommy's seen. You scratch your head like, what the hell's going on? The best is I was driving back one night and I couldn't stop. And when I moved to Florida, and I saw that it was just a plane that was like it's coming in for a landing near the airport. And it's just there in the sky. Like it's
Not
coming
moving,
down.
no.
Doesn't move. And there are lights on it. And I'm like, okay, that's weird. And I couldn't even turn around to go look at it. We've got to get home. What are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Paranormal stuff. That's it. I'm a paranormal investigator. Yeah. So, sorry, I talked too much. I apologize.
No.
Did I talk too much?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
If you have a guest that doesn't talk, that's not a good show.
Yeah, I know. When we did an investigation, another friend of yours in the show, and then Jim Mallard had us on, and Jim didn't ask a freaking question. I'm like, "Are there any questions?" He goes, "Nope, no questions at all. You pretty much covered everything." I said, "Well, you want to come on? You come back?" He goes, "Nope, you had the perfect storm. It's not going to happen again." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, that was weird because normally you want people asking you questions. Most people do, like, okay, what questions do you have? And he wasn't asking questions because he goes, you're the perfect guest. I don't need to do a damn thing. You just go. And I mean, seriously, Kat, if Al and I were on a program together, which we have been, like, and we don't purposely do it, but people just like, we've taken control of shows at certain points, and we flipped it on them and started interviewing the interviewer. And it blows people's mind when we do it. But then I always figure out a way to circle back. So, I mean, and it's just something that we do. We can just talk and talk and talk and talk and talk, and Al will call bullshit. I'm not buying it. To talk and talk and talk. Whatever. All right, Bri, please. Yeah, I'm whatever. So, one thing that happened to me recently that never happened to me before, paranormal based. It was in August of this year. We had to come. The school system down in Florida starts August, real early. So I had to leave the New York area and come down to Florida with my kids. And we went out to dinner at this restaurant. And I haven't been to this version we've been to the company restaurant, the name of the place.
Yep.
But we didn't go into this one. We just found it was closer. We were shopping for certain things for school. And when you have two daughters, oh my God, you just want to poke your eyes out. Oh my God, especially my youngest. Oh, she's evil. I love her to death, and she's evil. She's just so tough. And so they're like, oh, we're hungry. I said, well, let's go to this place. He goes, oh, okay, great. So we go into this restaurant, we get seated. It's in a shopping center, mall, outdoor, whatever. When you come in, straight ahead is the bar area. And to the left is more bar. To the right is where they serve mostly food. So there's a whole stretch to the right, all the way to the right, in front of their windows. That's a booth. And then they have perpendicular to it other booths, 2 rows, right? So they bring us in, they go all the way down. So my daughters are facing away from the bar, and I'm facing the bar area. I like to look out. And our waitress comes over. I don't even remember her name. She's really nice, whatever. We get to do the order. And she's covering our section in the first row of that perpendicular. And then also this other waitress comes out. That's in the other line of the perpendicular 2 rows. And I instantaneously see her chatting. This takes place right in my mind, right in my vision. Like I can see it in my mind's eye. She's chatting with somebody at a bar. The guy's like, come on, I'll take you home. And she's like, well, no, I'll call an Uber. No, I can do it. And she submits to him. That, I could tell you what the guy looked like. He was heavy set, 5 o'clock shadow. Maybe, darker skinned. I don't know if he was tan or on the Latin side.
Mm-hmm.
And after she said yes, the next scene I saw was her lying in the grass, eyes wide open, blue around the face. She wasn't alive.
Damn.
So I'm like, I'm looking and I'm like, I have this insatiable need to tell this woman, but I've never done that. And, I'm freaked out. And so I get up from the table, Dad, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. And I would have called our psychic friend in up north, but I didn't want to bother her whatsoever. So I called a friend of ours, and I called Cisco, who's like a sister to me. And I said, I need your help. I'm freaked out because the father in me, having 2 kids, I'd want my daughters protected or warned. And I said, I've never done this. I told her. She goes, I said, I don't even know what to do without like coming off, as a psychopath. And also, one of my friends, who's a psychic, he stresses it numerously that you don't get involved or call the police or whatever, because you then become a suspect because you know too much.
Yeah.
And they don't believe that you're a psychic. And I get it. So you don't want to get involved.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she goes, no, I've done this numerous times. I said, well, I don't know what the hell to tell her. And she said, go tell her that you're a medium and that you got a caution for her. And then tell her not to take, whatever. And I said, okay. And I'm sitting there, I'm trying to eat. I can't eat. I just see this woman and I see it playing out in my head. And we go to pay and I walk to the back. And I said, you know what? If I walk to the back and see where the girl is, I can stop before she comes out. And she doesn't come out. So I kind of see her coming out after I pay. My kids are walking out. I said, 1 second. And I walk up to her and she's like, backs away. Like, what's up? Like when someone comes at you, you're like, oh, what's going on? I said, no. I've got to tell you something. And she goes, okay, what? And I said, I'm a medium and I got a caution for you that if you get approached by somebody in a bar and offering you a ride home, don't take their ride, call the Uber. That's Uber. I think know what Uber is. Yeah. Yep. So call an Uber. And she's like, she's like, listen, like, okay. And I walked away. And she goes, wait a minute. What was it again? I said, I'm a medium. I'm getting a caution for you. And I told her, I said, I don't care what bar it is, even this bar, if you're getting approached from somebody after hours, do not take a ride with them. Mm-hmm. Call the Uber, please. And she said, okay. I said, have a good night. And I walked out and totally freaked out because I've never done that. I don't think I'll ever do it again, by the way. That was just too much. I can't handle that. And then Cisco sent me something to, I told her and she said, oh, okay, you did good. You were supposed to do that. Cisco's not afraid of crap.
No, she's
folks.
not.
Cisco will come right up to your face and tell you some stuff and make you look like an idiot.
And she will fight you.
Yeah. She'll beat you up.
I love that lady.
And my money's on Cisco.
Yeah.
She's a tough lady. So, excuse me. So she sends me something about to listen to. It's 7 or 8 minutes. It's a prayer to Holy Saint Michael. And it helps cut the cord of, if anything negative on investigation. She's used it on investigations because when it kind of repeats in your head, because I just couldn't. I was a little bit freaked out by the whole thing. I never did this before. And so I listened to it. And then, the next day I said, okay, let me go try to see, what's going on with this. And I see in my head, the girl is not dead anymore. She's alive and she's laughing and none of it happened. And, and I know that she took the cab. That girl listened.
Yeah.
And I never went back to that place because I just, I would love the validation. Like, hey, you're the one that told me. You were so right. I said, yep. She goes, not that I want to thank you, but I know the whole, and I think maybe that was my role in the process. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not, I can't come up to people like, your father's disappointed in you. Your uncle says he's sorry for taking the last drumstick 10 years ago. I mean, that never happened to me before. It does happen to some of these people. Like Cisco gets this all the time. Our psychic Cindy, the Billy Dub, will literally, like, they'll tell her, no, you got to tell her. And she'll come up to you like, listen, besides that outfit not fitting you, you got to do whatever. I don't want to do that. I mean, I will gladly help people if I see them, they're in harm's way. And I know them, no problem. I did it recently to another friend of mine. And I said, hey, and I told him, I said, hey, how's it going? I hope the family's well. I really need you to go see your doctor and have your heart checked out. Because I knew he was having a heart problem. Mm-hmm. And he replied back to me in an email like, dude, I love you, but is this a damn joke? This is really sick. It's a sick joke.
What?
And I said, I know you won't believe anything I'm telling you, but I'll tell you exactly. Mm-hmm. I saw a vision. Your heart's bad. You really need to get to do it. You may not want to believe me what I can do, but I can tell you I'm doing it. I've done it numerous times, and I'm only warning you. If you don't want to believe me, I'm fine with that. I'm being a friend. I'm warning you that you really need to get your heart checked out. And then just after that, he goes, okay, I got you. Yeah. I had to make an appointment. I've been having an issue. I said, I'm telling you. I would not know it. I'm friendly with him, but I'm not friendly enough to know that, like, oh, he's having a heart problem. Mm-hmm. And I get it, because when you get stuff come out of you from out of the blue, like, what? Bet on the blue monkey. Like, okay. I wish, I used to do that. I've helped an Al in certain situations with his family, in certain situations where I always ask permission, can I remote view it? I'll try to find out where the problem is. So I remote view his location, whatever it is. And sometimes he has issues in the house because he doesn't sage all the time. His wife will get an issue, which is, it's simple stuff. It's not anything major. And while I'm there and I find out what's going on, where it is, I can see him actually in bed, and I'll go up to him and I'll say, blue monkey, blue monkey, blue monkey. And I'll tell him something like that. Monkey with a big banana, monkey with a big banana. And I said, tell Bryan, monkey with a big banana. And just to mess with him, I use that as a gauge to see, once or twice he's actually responded to something I've put there. Mm-hmm. And I just laugh. He goes, what are you doing? I'm like, well, remember that time I remote viewed? Yeah, I told you to say that. What are you talking about? I'm like, I don't know where I got that from. I'm like, there you go. Yeah. So.
That's awesome.
But, yeah, well, if you can't mess around with your friends, who can you mess around with?
Especially you and him. You have that kibitzing I just absolutely love.
We always just take shots at, fun shots. We're not hurting each other. Yeah. Type of stuff. Relax, people. We're not going to kill anybody. And it's just, he's just, brother from a different mother, as they say. But that's basically what I've been doing for the last, I've been writing some stuff down. I've been writing some theories down. I've been writing, because I've been working on something with Ron Murphy. I just can't continue to wrap my head around it. And I always get distracted because of life, mm-hmm. It's like, work, yep. You got kids, you've got daydreaming, whatever it is. So I'm writing stuff. I've written my theories and stuff about Bigfoot, about this Dogman creature, writing something with Ron about UFOs, angels, demons, Nephilim, giants, and sacred places and mounds throughout the, whatever. And I know I may just combine something with extraterrestrials also separately. I may combine the cryptid stuff together. I'm going to piss a lot of people off because I'm going to propose something and they're going to be like, no, he's crazy, blah, 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 whatever. And I'm like, okay, I don't care. I do for me, not for what other people want. And other than that, I think that's what I'm doing. That's it right now. I'm trying to get out on a couple of investigations down here in Florida. So I could go see the Florida skunk ape. And we'll see. I'm going to go ask the gentleman that does a lot of the research that I respect highly. Tonight, I don't know when this episode will be released, but he's going to be a guest. Yeah, November?
Yep.
Well, happy Thanksgiving to everyone and all. Or whatever else you celebrate if we make it to November. Election day, whatever it is. But hopefully I'll be able to get out and to see some of this stuff, go on investigation, because I have a couple of theories and I want us to try it. And I think we're going to get some great results from it. Like, he's got Class A areas, which is very, very important.
Is that something you'll be sharing with everybody?
Yeah, we'll probably do it with him. My research and on the investigation, I said you have, he's a good enough friend where it's like you'll have full access to it. Mm-hmm. And I think we should probably do something. If we really do get some stuff, we should really present it in the proper way, maybe even in a movie, and just keep going out and doing whatever. Because I think if it's that revolutionary, it's going to blow the minds of everybody. And why take the ridicule when you could just, put it out on Amazon or whatever it is? Because he is a movie maker as well, not like special effects movies. Mm-hmm. It's just, he makes movies, and they're really good, actually. So I figured if we get enough evidence, we can do it the right way.
I look forward to hearing about that.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I got my snake boots. I got, everything I need to go out there. And hopefully something good will happen.
Good luck. Be safe.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. And if I'm not, au revoir. Did I cut out again?
Yeah, just for a second. Yeah.
Well, I apologize about that. I guess someone's telling us that I think it's time to go. That's
probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Before we sign off, I just want to say one of the reasons why I love talking to you, especially for interviews, is I'll have certain questions prepared, but I never have to ask them. I'll be thinking about them, and then you answer them. Or I'll be thinking about them, and like 10 minutes later, you'll answer it. And I'm like, okay. So I'm just sitting here letting you go.
Just when you do the start of this episode, by the way, I had the following questions ready, and just watch the video.
Yeah.
You'll see. It's really weird. I tend to, when I'm on interviews, and I do this quite often, that you'll ask me question A, right? And I'll start going on that. I'll start building because it's based on a couple other things that go a little bit on a tangent, and then we'll start going the tangent, but I always bring it back to where you want. And I've been complimented, like, dude, I don't know how you just did that, but we just covered all this other stuff. I said, well, I can go deeper into the other stuff too. And then we go into the other stuff. And then that begets another question. So, I don't know, maybe I'm intuitive. Maybe I'm psychic. Maybe you're psychotic, Brian.
Yeah, get out of my head.
Yeah, no, I'm sure, I talk too much and Al will be like, blah, 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 blah. But Jesus, imagine having Al and I on this. I mean, we would need like a dedicated server just for the commentary. Yeah.
I love when I have both you and him on at the same time. It's just
well, we could bounce off of each other, which would be great.
I could go and make a sandwich and come back and you're sitting.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Everybody, we've done that all the time. Like the best is when they like, can you do 2 hours? And we're like, are you
try
kidding
and stop
me?
them.
That's an appetizer. It's just like, yeah, I can do 2 hours. Yeah. If you want the meat and potatoes, we got to go to about 5, 6.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like
series.
Right. So when we did Inside the Goblin Universe with Ron, the Crypto Guru Murphy, years ago, I got Robert Vanderbroek on, who's out of the Netherlands, and he you know who he is. He's able to take cameras and pictures and images appear on fresh film. You could literally take a camera, open it up, put the digital card brand new in there, and he gets these impressions and puts it on the images.
Yep.
He breaks out. He has all these, different type of psychic material and awareness and interaction with aliens and whatever. So I'm on. I got Ron Murphy on, and myself. I got Robert Vanderbrook and our buddy Johnny Webb, who's also does paranormal stuff. And we do because Robert was in the, we're doing a 9:00 show US. So it's like, I don't know what it is in Netherlands or whatever it is, where he's from. And so we're waiting. And also, Johnny's over in the UK. So as we're waiting, so we do like an hour and a half pre-show, right? Then we have him on for 3.5 hours. And he starts breaking out. And we did experiments. So I said, listen, I told people in advance, bring some fruit with you. And he's going to start, when he gets the impression, sometimes, you can get that impression on the fruit. He's able to actually burn in stuff. It happens with him. Also take pictures of your house and things. People were posting stuff afterwards of like, this is what I got during the interview. This is what I got during the interview. So after we do this, so we do like 3.5 hours with him. We did an hour and a half pre-show. Ron passes out. Right?
Oh, no.
It's well past his bedtime. And I'm talking to Johnny. It's just me and Johnny and Robert, bails. And we're going, and I'm still recording because the way my setup was at the time using Skype, I just had to record. And when I ended, right? So we get to like, what is it, 3, 4, 5? We're like hour 6, almost 6 hours in. And Johnny goes, did I tell you about the tentacles? I'm like, excuse me? Robin and the tentacles, the alien tentacles? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So he sends me an image of tentacles and goes into telling me 6 hours later, after Robert's been gone for about an hour and 20 minutes, Robert had an interaction with extraterrestrials that had tentacles, and they they released their tentacles from the body so he would have proof to show people. And I'm like, Johnny, you couldn't have thought about this 5 hours ago before we started this? Because they had, it's a great, if you can get Johnny Webb on, he'll probably tell you the story about that. But to this day, he went DNA testing with it, multiple, Her Majesty's DNA testing, whatever it is. No one would give them the results. Here, we got them. We can't give them to you.
Oh, that's odd.
And then one of his friends who have been his whole entire generation, like for 200 years, were all fishmongers. And he brought them he goes, it kind of looks like it. I've never seen anything like that in my life. He goes, it has certain characteristics, but I don't know what that is. Yeah. So that's my story. I'll stick to it. And if Kat has me back on,
of course,
after she has Al on 9 times, again, maybe like for season 7 or year 19. Well, Kat, I can't find my pants right now, but but it's been a pleasure, and I thank you for having me on.
Oh,
love you to death,
mine.
my niece.
Love you too, Uncle. Thank you so much for helping me celebrate the 6 years, and thank you so much for helping with everything that you've helped me with in the past few years. I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you. I appreciate, more than happy to help, as you know. I'm really proud for you. And you actually go to the right sources with the right people with the audio with Bryan Anderson. I'm Bryan Anderson.
Yep.
And I still love my promo from my show. Somebody get me Bryan Anderson.
I love that. Yes.
I got to play that one more time. I got to find it. There are spirits everywhere. It's a great
that was
promo.
The best. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you just fart in the promo?
Yeah.
That was really, really good. So, but yeah, you've done a great job. Keep doing what you're doing. I still investigate, but I don't need to go to the ghost thing, although I'll probably eventually do some more. Depends. And we'll go from there. But thank you again. Look forward to being back. Look forward to seeing it. And here's the 12 more. Hopefully she gets to go and do a live thing, and she does StreamYard or something like that. And then people can see Cat Ward and she can't hide behind the picture anymore. But we'll see.
I'm planning on it. Maybe next time I interview you, it'll be video.
Oh, then you could all see my Beatles shirt.
Yes.
A yellow submarine Beatles shirt.
So before we sign off, Uncle, why don't you tell my listeners where they can find you?
Truck stops. I'm usually on every social media platform unless actually I'm currently once again being throttled down on Facebook until like till like December 28th. I really don't care. I'm on all that stuff. I have a link tree. I think I'll send you the bio for whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm on Discovery Plus if you want to see what I look like. Though I've lost some weight from that moment. On several shows. I'm everywhere. Just look for me. If you want to have questions or you want something and you PM me, Bryan Bowden on Facebook, please tell me you heard it on, Paranormal Heart, or I heard you on this. Don't just come up. I think my dead uncle's trying to, I'm like, okay, who are you? I don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Because I got to have a frame of reference where you're coming from. But I'm very approachable. I will answer his questions. I'm going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. That's where I'm looking.
That's what I love about you.
Yeah. And some people don't like that.
Well, that's their problem.
That's why I'm calling bullshit. And I'm on the Three Beards podcast every Wednesday from 8:01 p.m. Eastern till at least 9 p.m.
And
on
that's
YouTube.
live.
Yeah, and that's live. So I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, and they'd kill me. Craig would just I'm going to rattle you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Blessings. Blessings to you.
Thank you so much.
You got it.
Much love to you and your family.
Right back at you. Tell Vic I said hi.
I will. Well, we've made it to the end of another episode. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, take care of each other. And if you'd like to be on the show or have questions and comments, just drop me an email, paranormalheart13@gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you.
Paranormal Heart would like to extend a special thank you to purpleplanet.com for supplying the music for the show. The views and opinions expressed on Paranormal Heart are those of the host and participants.
Paranormal Heart Podcast.